No, we're not going to put you guys through the ringer that way. There's a lot to address, and not being the actively accused changes your position in things. Now, as the active accused, most of the deal making and the closed chamber conversations happen without your input. They pull each other to the side, their messages sent back and forth. You guys aren't necessarily privy to all of the many painfully devious steps along the way. However, as the incumbent heroes, having put down, well, why are we giving you the Cliff Note version of things? I want to thank you guys for spending this time. We really have spent so much time getting to know these characters, getting to know each other a little bit, and enjoying this hobby of ours. It really does mean a lot that I can look forward to game night and Wednesday, our primary, our central foundation for all of the many derivations on the story that we're telling, as my night off from things. And it's a real pleasure to get a chance to do that with you guys. And for the record, this is officially Soup City Sins Season 9 Epilogue. You Need One. When we last left our coterie members, they had staked a hound, had a one-to-one conversation with an elder statesman who had finally decided to play the political game for keeps. They had found out that in the doing, in the acting on impulse, that they'd all but damned the spirit of the city, and steps needed to be taken. In the decision to do so, and in the fallout of those machinations, the coterie found themselves once more at Harold Washington Library. And while an Elysium of sorts, Harold Washington Library is not as unlike any other cultural center and media library in the entirety of the Northern Hemisphere. Its design is garish and it stands out. Its green tinged roof, a sight that any Chicagoan would know from a distance. The red brick and its construction as an edifice to learning and knowledge. It is a landmark on several factors and several fronts, from the very cutting edge outsider think architecture to the fact that it is in fact, unbeknownst to most people, a nearly 80% green building. Its rooftop, beneath the crenellations, inside the ring of green that everyone recognizes just behind the gargoyles, is made to work harmoniously with the elements, the wind, the rain. All of that is factored in through its green roof, providing both energy, oxygen, and fighting the deleterious effect of the commonplace and well-known Chicago L systems, the pollution of the cars on the streets below, as well as the personal pollution that each individual city spreads into the air, from their coughs to their tears to their oral assault on the senses, loud music, the song sung, the curses yelled, and profanity spoken as if it is a language unto itself. As a testament to Chicago's first black mayor bearing his name, there's a certain connotation the library has. Many don't realize that it is a place not just for actual higher learning and the more academic, but their spaces set aside for children of all ages, from toddler to teen to young adult. There are clubs, there are cooking courses offered. There are music courses offered for the humans of the city. But with a little looking, you can find nearly any facet to improve oneself at the Harold Washington. For many, the library is the only place to watch the newest movies that they can, to take those movies home, to borrow, to take part in bettering one's community by bettering oneself. For the Kindred, it is a place of judgment. Its floors and its halls used to guide the city, to lay the course forward for the government of the city. It is a place where decisions are made, plans are launched, and immortality for many is ended. It is the first time that the coterie has been here and not been the subject of the attention of their elders. It's the first time that the L click-clacking by below outside of the north-facing window was not the soundtrack to fear, dread, worry. Merely a background noise that can help one think, and think they must, because while they are part and party to what will befall several people involved in the allegations, there's also the very real fact they haven't had an opportunity to talk amongst themselves to know what exactly they are or have been requested to do. And as the lead witnesses, while the other members of the city government discuss, plot, and Sheng is laid in state, as it were, the shelter is alone in a conference room, looking down on the L, watching the downtown night sky.
And apparently it's unusually quiet.
What do you think we should do?
About what?
I assume you mean about Sheng.
Yes.
Well, right now, the way it looks, it's either him or us. Given that choice, I'm always going to choose us.
Yes, I am personally very much. Yes, I am very much with the plan. It's the life.
It's been almost a year since I was last here, and I'm sorry, it's just a little hard being here considering how close I was to the same fate. I don't like what's happening here, any of it, but we have to do what we have to do.
I mean, they could kill me instead.
I'm not gonna let that happen.
I mean, it's not exactly a thing that you let happen.
That's a fair point.
This was an option that was presented to me by someone much older and much more connected than me, and I took it.
There's an old aphorism that's often trotted out in situations such as this: speak of the devil and they shall appear. Lo and behold, the moment that escapes Dizzy, there's a knock upon the door, followed quickly by another.
Lucio goes to open the door.
Alexa is standing there, and she smiles for all the world as if this is a social call, as if you all are preparing to move into a grand old party. And she steps inside. Oh my goodness, you all look so very, very serious, and you should not. This is a good thing. You have saved the city, and we will act accordingly. Everyone understands what has taken place, yeah?
Yep.
Exactly what happened, yes.
Oh, that sounds dangerous. Just so that you are aware, the Bahari, that foul, rebellious, deceitful, and devious church which has been allowed to grow in our city, that foul influence of those Lilins who not only endanger our peace, but our future stability, assassinated one of our elders. When we began to investigate, their agents hidden amongst us was found by you all. And Dizzy, in her rush to become part of the city as a whole and protect her home and her near friend, stopped their spy with their own tool. Correct?
Sounds pretty accurate to me.
No objections here.
Oh, this is so good. You all have done such a wonderful service to the city. It will be a glorious hunt whenever they finally get off of their duff and accept the information. I just wanted to check on you all because we will be going before them very shortly. And of course, always in such situations as this, there will be questions and considerations. And if I'm not mistaken, because of our efforts, there will be a new primogen. Once more, welcome back to the city government. And she looks at Hestia. The city warlocks. The Chantry, the Grand Chantry of the Midwest, our very own Tremere. So, party faces, happy faces. We are the harbingers of the new regime. I'll go make sure that they're all set for us, and then I'll be back. And she leaves. The moment the door closes, there is an exhalation no one realized they were holding. It doesn't stand out for Melinda right away. Having been a regent, there's a certain level of privacy automatically granted to you. There's this inherent, almost fearful respect paid. However, having been here before, Lucy knows that knocking upon a door and waiting entrance is not something that is typically done or had been. Having been a nomad, Dizzy knows that, well, most places where they've alighted over the years, the inherent privacy that was just paid is never extended to nomads. Hesha knows that even within the gentry, not being the lead dog, that privacy of waiting on ceremony, waiting to be addressed, waiting to be allowed entrance is not a respect that happens to anyone not of the top tiers of the pyramid. So Alexa knocking upon and waiting entrance is in fact a thing that causes pause. Have you all managed to, over the course of your time in the city, command the respect for having a private moment in places such as this?
Lucio's inherent paranoia is starting to get the better of him. He doesn't like any sort of implications that this is bringing. And he's immediately just checking around to make sure that this isn't some sort of like secret setup. Like just to see if there's any like hidden cameras or wiretaps suddenly.
Okay, that being the case.
A moment of like he can't really believe this is happening.
Okay, that being the case, would you roll your wits and larceny plus your technology?
I don't have the sheet pulled up, but I think it's 6.
We can extend a little trust for Lucio. And taking a quick look, you all watch as Lucio doesn't freak out in the TV or movie appropriate pulling hair, pacing back and forth. Instead, he begins running his fingers along every recessed crack, every table edge, stopping and stooping and actually looking underneath each table, feeling under the edge of each chair, down inside each cushion, moving his fingers along while, strangely enough, turning on his cell phone and finding a radio app, which is in and of itself interesting because it's using new tech for old technique. Any active microphones or cameras give off interference, and while listening to your MP3 player would not cause that response, finding one of the radio apps would, and he begins doing so across the room, checking bookcases, checking plants, checking doorknobs, checking light fixtures.
You realize that if they're here, that hunting them out makes us look guilty, right?
Just a precaution.
I mean, we are a suspicious lot by nature, so I guess there's that, but still.
Every one of us is suspicious. I mean, kindred in general.
Speak for yourself, Lucio. I'm a lady.
Of course, no one would ever suspect you of anything.
You can look that up. Fact.
There are
I don't-
dozens
I
of
don't-
would-be sex offenders that don't suspect me of anything.
And as Lucio continues moving around the room, there's one glaring factor that stands out to those mystically inclined. There are ways to scry that are not electronic. There are ways to be present and yet not physically noticeable. And most importantly, there are sewer rats who, as long as they are still, would never be seen by the naked eye.
Estia, watching Lucio do that, was already thinking about the fact that they don't need kind means to listen in. So she's gonna let him do the doing, but meanwhile she's gonna step into some CMC to check for spies and magical means of listening.
Melinda is going to do the same thing.
Okay. Not a problem at all. Would you all be so kind to roll your wits plus awareness plus aspects?
Wits plus awareness plus aspects. There is an existential moment that comes over three of you all as you all begin scanning and search endeavor. There is the culmination of the heightened awareness that you all are completely and totally unwatched. For Melinda, there is a very real fact that that level of privacy, that level of deference, very much triggers the memories of her ascension to Regency before it all went to shit, before the doors were kicked open and the SWAT teams moved through every facility that was connected with any known aspect of the Kindred community. Everyone looks down on the idea of the SI as government overreach. Oh, but it's so much more than that. For weeks and months, there had been fear and paranoia amongst the community. People were making sure they switched out their phones every night. People were making sure that they didn't drive the same car to the same places. Word spread amongst the community. There were eyes everywhere. And when Havens began going up in flames, there was a rash of arson. There were a rash of foreclosures. There were a rash of seizures of property. And then it happened. The daylight hours became hell, became a landscape of fear
and sheer aggression as police no-knock and raided backed by men and women in dark tactical gear. And while it never made the news more than the local police cracking down on gang activity, the Kindred knew just what was happening. The Kindred knew that there would be no rest for them, and that any steps that they took that was the least bit noticeable, they'd be beaten into the light of day. They'd be dragged out, or worse. Having been the region of the pyramid, Melinda was able to investigate some of the scenes after, and it was clear that massacres happened. Shots were fired, things burned. It was clear from the piles of ash that centuries were destroyed. Engagement. And that paranoia begins to fall over Melinda. That privacy that they have in the here and now is very much something that she didn't realize she missed until here she is with it well in front of them. No interlopers, cameras, not even any spiritual visitors. As if the place has been consecrated and warded and protected on several different levels. And for Lucio, the idea that Faye and Sella and Spots and several 100,000 others across the city self-surveil, as well as surveil the world around them with such regularity that the world is in fact a reality show. That every time that he'd been in a center of kindred power, there have been more watchers than he could count. People were aware of the merest thought out of line. Since his death, awakening in the cesspit that was the, as he now knows, production factory for the blood trade. This is the first time he's actually 100% sure that no one is watching. No one is listening. No one's counter-surveilling him. No one... And that's the scary part. It's like reaching a plateau and thinking it's just another day until you walk to the edge and look down to see how far you've come. And Heshu, peace has always been a fantasy. It's always been something that she's been snatched from, pulled into the active, pulled along to other people's plans and inclinations. Save for the few years she walled herself up, settled down Karen's books, and let the world move past her. Since then, since becoming involved in the city, since attempting to care for the homeless, since attempting to maintain the safety, security, and sanctuary of the shelter for both her coterie and the humans that rely on it, there has not been one moment where there's been a semblant of peace. There's always been some fire, some circus that an unknown audience has watched as you leaped from ring to ring, juggling machetes and spears and bowling balls and flame horrors. That deference of this piece, it's like having your favorite suit that you wear every day, getting up on a Monday for work and realizing that somehow, in the course of a blink of an eye, it's too small, it's too tight, it feels wrong. And while that existential moment is reverberating from one next coterie,
for Dizzy, this chaos, this maelstrom that's just beyond that door might as well be across the country. Since arriving in Chicago, one of the many things that has never allowed her rest is that old aphorism: if you're not the lead dog, the view never changes. Yet, there are some things that most assuredly have. Since being here, there's never been a moment where she has not been harassed, harangued, tracked, traced, followed, hunted even by the damn Thin Bloods. Yet, there's a deference, this privacy. There's a semblance of respect, of agency and autonomy that had never existed.
I can say that at the very least, we aren't being spied on by electronics. This is all a bit strange to me. I did not expect to be in this position ever, to be honest.
I never thought I would be in this position again.
Again,
No one's watching. In El Paso, the SI destroyed everything. And we always knew we were being watched. We tried to hide from them, change phones, change cars, change locations constantly. We were always being watched by someone. Arson, foreclosures. I was a regent. This is the first time in a long time no one's been watching. I miss that. I didn't realize how much I missed not being.
Well, in light of actual privacy, I need you all to listen and not argue with me, but if the off chance that this goes south, and I don't think that it will, I did this, just let me take the fall. Just promise me that you will help Vivi back to a life, erase her memories or whatever.
What if that is not what she wants?
She hasn't been around long enough to understand exactly what she's gotten into, what I've dragged her into, I guess, to be fair.
to be fair, have any of us?
Yeah, but if you could go back to before, wouldn't you?
Said yes, absolutely, 100%. And now with everything that I know, I'm starting to wonder if maybe this has opened my eyes to the real problem
That's making good of a situation you can't change. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's very noble, but her situation can be changed. We're stuck as we are.
The only thing I will promise is if something does happen, I will give her the option. And if she chooses to remember, then I will take care of her.
That's fine. And I highly doubt this is going to go south. This is bigger than us now. Other people have put themselves in it.
I already said before how I felt about this, but it seems so strange that we're about to go through with this, and yet it feels like we're being rewarded for it. For something so criminal.
Isn't being a vampire keen?
Yes, but at the same time, we do have our ups and downs in our existence.
The way it is with City Kindred, everything's a political move.
What I meant to say was, hell, I'm not good with words in this situation. I'm better at being on the street, looking into crimes. I was not really made for the political game. And yet here I am, framing another kindred for murder. Apparently being respected and feared alongside the rest of you enough that nobody is disturbing us.
I mean, he was a weak link.
They've blamed us for so much already. Like, you should hear the things they say about us that we didn't even have any part in, and the things that we might have had part in, they blow out of proportion. So I feel like this is fair game.
I feel like my own life being in the balance aside, as reckless and sloppy as Sheng was, it was only a matter of time before he got someone else killed anyway.
This is a hell of a thing to say. Where's this all coming from?
I think she's telling the truth. Sheng is kind of stupid. Honestly. He was definitely wondered often why he was a hound. I don't think it.
As I recall,
Let's not forget that Blakeney ran off on his watch.
yes, there is that.
I've never been 100%. That's never sat. The taste of that's never sat right in my mouth. That just occurred all coincidental like.
Oh, believe me, I'm 100% with you on that one. But as I recall, there were a few other key players in that incident.
There were, and he may be innocent, but at the same time, it was his watch.
Let's not.
But he also said that he couldn't
Otherwise,
find
I
any
feel like
proof.
I'm going to say something that I shouldn't.
You were saying, Hessian.
But he also said at the time he couldn't find any proof. And how do you miss something that big? It wasn't just blatantly, it was like 6 of them, and they were all gone. How do you miss that?
Criminally negligent. A breach waiting to happen.
I get the whole thing with the anarchs, and I was involved in that. But like I said then, they would have had to have been geniuses to have orchestrated something in the minutes that it occurred.
No, that sounds either quite opportune or planned.
I'll admit I didn't really know Sheng as well as Damien or some of the other hounds, but I felt like he at least pulled his weight during the drop house raid. That's really my only encounter with Sheng, so.
Well, I mean, I didn't pick him. It was presented to me as a package deal.
And then there's a knock on the door.
Time for game face.
Linda will open the door.
Standing in the doorway is the worst sort of road rash you have seen on 2 feet. It is clear that while kindred normally don't have a scent, what you allow yourself to spend time amongst does, and the 2 men standing outside the door clearly have spent their time around gas, fuel, oil, the wind and detritus mixing in the air from swooping too close to semis and diesel fuel, and smelling of, as many southern old grandmothers and mothers would say, you smell like all outside. The clearly leader of these 2 men is a bit on the shorter side. He's barely 5'11". There's a well-used bandana around the top portion of his forehead. His grimace very much looks as if it had been carved into the foundation of stone. His leather's well worn and having taken more than one fall. Standing to his right, your left, is... there's no other way to describe it. The gentleman rogue. He has a bounteous Arabian-esque beard and mustache combo. His hair pulled back and still with enough volume that most of the women of the late 50s and 60s who wore the bouffant style would be jealous. His skin still holding the idea of being sun-kissed, and his leathers equally well used, though it's clear that he takes far more care of them. So yeah, the stars of the show, the hounds of great repute. Well, you're gonna let us in so we can talk this over before we go before them. Or do we have to handle this business in front of the suits?
I mean, no one's stopping you from coming in.
Good. Not sure if you know. I'm tired. He looks a little bit offended that you all don't immediately respond with "ohs, ahs." That's dread.
It's a pleasure to finally meet you. I am Melinda Cross.
Melinda. Who the fuck are a lot of you? Lucio.
And introduces himself.
Lucio. So which one of you ladies are dizzy? Dread nods to everyone as Tyrus is leading the charge, as it were. Then he just leans against the door and waits. There's a tiredness about him.
There could be $5 prize if you guess.
No, not that it really matters. We just need to have a few words. We understand you killed Sheng. That's not necessarily the best thing for us. It's not the worst thing. But it's not the best thing. And we typically look out for our own. Not sure how much you know about the wolf pack. And what we do for the tower. More specifically, what we do for Chicago these days.
I'm pretty new, so probably not as much as I should.
Damn shame. So, before you go smearing the boy's name, is it true? Has his wild and wanton ways caught up to him?
It seems so.
Not what I was hoping to hear. I was hoping to hear this was some political gobbledygook that we could use potentially to leverage your fucking prince into doing the right thing. Damn shame. Sheng wasn't one of us long, but he was one of us long enough. And we knew he had a problem with the juice bags. Didn't expect it to be this bad. It's not what I was hoping to hear. Not what I was wishing to hear. For fuck. Alright then. You did the right thing, you did the right thing. But don't let us find that this is a play.
It's been a disappointing night for everyone.
You've no clue. There's a demon of a fellow on the hunt, and we've got to bring him down. Sheng was our inside man to make sure that the hounds weren't being purposely blind. And now we have no clue whether you all have your heads up your ass, or is he really just that good?
It might help if we knew who this man was.
It's the assassin guy that tried to kill you.
He hasn't turned into a giant pig, does he?
You've met McTavish close enough to see that happen and walk away. Why is this the first time we're actually hearing this?
I have that effect on people. Though we
remember that.
Though some of us almost did not walk away.
I distinctly remember that encounter. I punched him. He removed my stomach.
Meet one of the people who almost didn't walk away.
So the other one didn't, I take it. So, you know how dangerous this fucking wreck is. He downed several of us a few months back, and And we know that he's in the area. We just can't pinpoint his exact location. Sheng was amongst the hounds to make sure that you all weren't pulling our legs when you said you hadn't heard of him. To make sure that you all weren't playing games. Or more specifically, that Prince Jackson wasn't playing games.
No, we hadn't heard of him until that night. Afterwards, I definitely haven't forgotten his name or his face.
For your safety, it'd probably be a better idea if you did. He normally doesn't let anyone walk away who's seen him.
Next time, I don't intend to hold back.
Yeah, make sure you don't, but also make sure you call for help before you tangle meet your final. Look, if Sheng was too well partied and let himself get too undercover, we understand. He was a wild card. Took his role too seriously. But if you say it is what it is, it is what it is. We've come to get you all before the government so that this farce can happen. Just know whether he was too far into the party, we won't be the ones to get the information from him. We won't get his. Anyway, we're leaving that to you, be he one of us or not. We won't go that far. I suppose we need to get, come on, Dread. Whatever.
Hit me up later, I might be able to help you with your McTavish problem.
That goes for me too.
We'll see.
I'm quite good at finding things.
I can bring him to us.
Both options may be what we need. He's a master tactician when it comes to hiding like a fucking snake. And as you all walk towards the conference room, which has become the prime high court of the city's kindred, there's a certain weight. You all will be given the clear-cut opportunity to speak your piece in regards to Sheng. You all will be able to negotiate, as it were, if you would like to place your current positions at risk. But there still is a very real fact that as far as you know, as far as you can prove, Sheng was just negligent. And yet, destroying another kindred is very much a death sentence. So as you all enter the conference room, and the government has managed to completely convene, there's Critias giving a nod to Lucio, there's Annabelle looking you all over for your many attempts, many foibles at the succubus. Seems as if word has spread far enough and wide enough to have finally caught her ear. There's Dusable, where Blueberry formerly sat. There's Prince Jackson. There's the Seneschal. And strangely enough, sitting at a small table upon which she is laid in state is Damien, and he motions to the chairs nearest him for you all. Sitting behind him to the right is Alexa. And While you've all never had the pleasure of meeting G in person, there she sits in a pink and white hoodie pulled high across her face. At least half of her face. And as you all settle in the seats offered, the Nosferatu primogen appears as if by magic, melding in from the empty space around him. And there's Khalid, the ancient Persian Muslim warrior, dressed in robes and eyeing you all suspiciously. Around the conference room at your back are various power players throughout the city. There's Myers, you see Stryker, you even see ads, Rizuli, no Mama Walde. Jackson stands up, using an actual gavel. I suppose we are about to call this to order. I understand that there are several things you all would like to tell us according to Alexa. We'll start with that, and then we will move our way through into discussing, disseminating, and deciding the fate of this betrayer to the city. Any of you all would like to go first? I understand this is a tough situation, but unlike the barbarity that we had grown accustomed to, I'd like to do things a little more genteel, if we might. Who was with the proposed traitor? I understand there was a deputy hound that handled this situation for us. Dizzy, tell us your best recollection of what took place.
She will fold her hands in front of her and recount whatever story Alexa had given her.
Dizzy forgot.
So the player of Dizzy forgot.
So a few moments later, after Dizzy...
The Bahari and all that stuff. But yeah.
So a few moments later, after Dizzy gives her testimony, Jackson says, looks from left to right. Now, just to summarize what we have heard, Sheng has been operating within the Hounds as a double agent when he was discovered by Sylvia. You happened to discover his actions as he destroyed the leading paranormalist among Chantry. You pursued him, notifying Alexa, and before he managed to get the jump on you, utilizing that Bahari stake used in some of their rituals, you turned the tables on him and planted that as deeply as you could. That about summarizes what we have listened to thus far.
Someone always has to be the fastest.
I see. I suppose there should be an order to these sorts of things, and as our newest blood to the city, as our newest seats amongst our denizens, our citizens, I suppose Detective Darcy, with your experience in law enforcement, you could offer your expertise in this particular situation. From what you understand, is what revealed to us here now accurate, true, and honest?
To the best of my knowledge, it is.
I see. And as the sisters to our leading paranormalist, former Regent Cross, Hound Green, are these what you understand to be true? Is there anything you all would like to offer?
It seems to me that Sheng had been watching Sylvia for a while and knew that she would be at the apartment when we asked for help with clearing it of a malevolent spirit. Most vulnerable. Doing a ritual takes a lot of focus and time. She would have been near helpless. We just weren't in time to save her. Luckily, Dizzy got upstairs first and managed to catch him after the gunshot went off. And instead of chasing him like she did, somebody needed to stay with the body until the rest got there to make sure that no kind came into the apartment or were further contaminated or made aware of the masquerade. So we stayed at the apartment.
Well, that clearly takes care of my question as to how you all were not there together. And I'm glad you all did work as a team to do your best to protect the whole of us. Critias clears his throat. If I may, my prince. Of course, as a resident elder and statesman of government. Well, right ahead, Professor. I understand. These hounds have proven to be loyal as best as they can to the city. We all have our things. We all have our moments where our personal interests take precedence. If they say that Sheng is responsible, then perhaps we should allow them to receive the fullness of our trust. Now, I understand where you're going, Professor, but if I might, as I stated, we are attempting to do things a little more genteel than what has transpired. So we're not just going to put Sheng on a roof with a closed caption TV, a closed circuit TV, watching his demise to verify that he no longer exists. We're not going to quite do that. We're not going to set up a pyre and light him up as if he was a side of beef. That still may be the outcome, but as Sheng, as represented by our wolf pack, was a honorary member to the Archons. And as Sheng was, undercover or no, a double-dealing snake or no, was a member of our hounds, we will give that trust placed in him and give that faith that he was just that good of an actor, just in case he was a double agent working against us, and not hold that against the sheriff. We won't hold that against the other hounds for not finding out too late. But unfortunately, heads must roll as the saying must go, but we're going to handle this thing a little more modern day. We are going to give you all the opportunity, Damien, Tyrus, the opportunity to get a confession, the opportunity to interrogate and get to the truth
and present it not just what it looks like, not just what we think it is, but we will have an actual confession that the jig is up, the case is over, and you've been caught red-handed. You might as well come clean, and all that entails. So that when we move forward in ending the promise of immortality that is Sheng, do so with all good conscience. So, while we decide the best location for such a thing to take place, Damien, you, Tyrus, and the Hounds and Archons, but y'all give us a few moments to decide. And so, as you all hear the sound of chairs scraping and you all standing to your feet, you realize that while you all met Tyrus and Dread, they are not the only wolf type members there. All total, there's 5 members of the wolf pack. The only young lady amongst them, Nitro, seeming by far the most angry. And as you all head into the hall, giving the government time to disseminate, discuss, argue, and if necessary, come to blows of matter, you never realize how tall Damien actually is until he's standing next to Tyrus. And by next to, I mean they are engaged in a very less than subtle stare down. The sort of thing that you see predators do when giving right of way. And Dread, very tired of it all, and their large-bodied blooper hanging around the back. And Nitro has had enough. She crosses the Rubicon between the Hounds and the Wolfpack. She stops in front of you 4. Fucking come off of it. You all know Sheng is innocent. Dumb as a bag of fucking dildos, but he's fucking innocent. He wouldn't betray anybody.
He just sort of looks over at Alexa at this point.
Alexa's twirling her hair and looking at the ceiling, counting the copper tiles.
Look, I know this is hard for you. It would be for me if I were in your shoes. For right now, let's just let the higher-ups decide how to proceed.
Fuck them. Fuck you, pretty boy. This is a fucking setup. You guys are trying to shit on our name and take our guy out of it. I don't know how you fucking found out that he was actually working for us, but this is fucking dirty, and you all know it.
I had no idea he had anything to do with any of you. To be quite honest, I had only heard a little bit about you before all this.
Yeah, because we're actually out there on the fucking road doing your job, not just hiding here in the city. All of you all make me fucking sick. You guys bought out to whoever the fuck is behind this. Don't you have any fucking respect? Oh, we're already at a fucking scene. You got our guy staked out like he's some fucking sword of Cain spawn. And you're sticking up and standing by your fucking lie in front of everybody, not caring who the fuck this hurts. That's the scene. That was the show. And you don't even have the fucking honor to at least own up to it.
I'm sorry, who are you?
Someone who's got a fucking sense of honor. Who the fuck are you?
The Regent of El Paso.
Oh. Isn't that fucking nice? American Hiroshima and Nagasaki as far as we're concerned. So you let one city go to hell and you want to take this one down with you too?
I didn't let anything happen. You can speak all you want, but you weren't there.
Yeah, I don't have to be. I've already seen it enough fucking times across. From here to New Orleans, back from New York, all the way out to fucking San Antonio. It's happening everywhere. The motherfuckers like you let shit like this go down. First, we don't stand up for ourselves, with ourselves. Then we don't stand up when the humans come kicking down doors. Instead of banding together and burning them all out by night, we lay down and take it, only worried about our own fucking asses. You know what happens when you're only worried about your ass? If you don't defend anybody else, there's no one to defend you when they come for you.
How many?
Sweetie, I say this with the utmost respect because I don't know you or anything about you, but if this is the first time you've been duped by a kindred presenting themselves as something they're not, then I feel really sorry for you.
And it's incredibly naive to think that the SI can be so easily taken out.
I've also found that little dogs make the most noise.
The fuck you say? Are you fucking serious? You want to make small jokes?
Yeah, but I'm not a little dog.
It'd be laughable watching it happen if you didn't watch as her fingers extended, but she takes a step back and literally starts pushing up the sleeves of her leather jacket. It looks very much like a version of the chicken hawk preparing to take down a rooster.
Oh, did that finally get you to shut up?
And she leaps.
Is this Elysium?
It is technically Elysium, yes. There are rules to be observed. There's decorum that is needed.
Yeah, verbal was no problem, but it's
Yes.
he's with Elysium.
Are we the only ones around?
You are the only ones closest. You are the only ones that watched as her fingers began to extend.
Melinda will shout very loudly.
I assume there will have to be...
will shout very loudly, "Madam, this is Elysium."
I assume that there will have to be some celerity involved, but I'm going to put myself in the way.
And Melinda will find whoever is like the higher up, the closest higher up, and will report that somebody has broken Elysium.
Okay. So several things happen as they usually do. When the fan meets the feces, Asher somehow manages to strike a chord. Nitro leaps after taking a step back and using the blood to do a most vicious thing you've seen one other person do, and that was McTavish. Extend their fingers into nearly razor sharp implements of destruction. Dizzy blurs out of sight. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your dexterity plus athletics plus celerity? And as Dizzy blurs from sight with Nitro leaping, Melinda calls out, drawing everyone's attention, Nitro already in motion. Ouch. Alright, so as Melinda gathers everyone's attention to the fracas breaking out between the hound and the wolf pack. Alright, Dizzy, what's Dizzy's stamina?
It's 2.
Do you know what Lucio and Alexander felt when McTavish lashed out? You understand why Alexander locked onto avenging that slight. You know why it scarred Lucio enough to make him consider making it a vendetta. Blurring in between Nitro and Hestia, there are about 95 small mistakes that Dizzy can put her hands on, put her mind on, and think back to those exact moments. This would be number 96. As Nitro's fingers get caught along the bottom of her floating rib, embedded more than a quarter of an inch deep into Dizzy's dead flesh, there is a searing pain as if each of those thin slices have been made out of molten lava, as if she has been sliced to the very core of her soul. And it is the unabashed, most intense pain that she has felt all at once. And only because Dizzy stamina of 2 means she's a tough person, but Dizzy stamina of 2 versus an aggravated of 3 is no laughing matter. There's a very real instinctual understanding that Nitro had no intentions of not killing something in defense of her fallen brother. The look of shock as she realizes that it is not at the target of her aggression. And as Damien and Tyrus over due to Melinda calling out, Hestia, with Dizzy standing in front of you, stock still as if she is made of stone, there's a worry that sets in because the first scent that hits your mouth is very much not blood, but the scent of vitae meeting the air, that thick, viscous go juice that is a kindred's life's blood. It is the very real fact that in the vitae, as you've learned, is the soul kindred. Dizzy's is meeting the air, space. Lucian,
You've seen Simone. You've seen Alexander. You've seen Hestia. You've seen Dizzy, but never this quickly within this close of a distance. Disappear from sight and reappear. She reappears between Hestia and Nitro, and the Sente hits the air, and Nitro has a look of shock. Her mouth doesn't fall completely open, but there's a pause as she realizes the target of her anger, the victim of her anger, is not the victim she intended. And as Damien and Tyrus and the wolf pack and the hounds can circle around attempting to separate the two, you know that is, or would be, if Dizzy was breathing, a life-ending injury.
I thought the Bruja were the ones with the anger management problems.
Being racist is what started this. Let's all just calm the fuck down.
Good point.
I'm sorry. There is a pell mell.
It doesn't fix my hoodie.
There is a pell mell. If you all have not had to deal with city bureaucracy fighting state bureaucracy, the enmity therein is obvious in every interaction. And because of that natural enmity, but also the very real fact that they'll stand up for each other against any other state, it puts everyone in an odd dichotomy. The hounds don't like the wolf pack because the wolf pack don't like the hounds, who don't like it. Is a mess. And as they try to separate the two, old injuries become apparent. Like, this is all your fucking fault. This is all your fault. What the hell are you doing? Why don't you? And it just goes and rises until there's actual full-on shoving and pushing as they attempt to circle around Nitro and separate her from Dizzy and keep a line between the hound and the wolf pack. And it's nuts. People's feelings are hot and hot. It is as close to a living that most of these kindred have ever gotten close to. And the scent of Vitae acting as kerosene to the bonfire.
All right. This is Elysium.
When I feel like it's safe enough to get to Dizzy and not be in direct danger, I'm going to. And pull them further out of trouble so I can try to heal her.
I'm gonna help move her as well. Because I imagine at this point, if only one person's moving her, her body might separate in two.
Oh, it definitely feels like it. There's no...
This is Elysium. We know the rules of Elysium.
Yeah, well, this is fucking more than Elysium. No, this is not fucking more than fucking point. No, fuck you. Who the fuck are you cursing at? And it goes and on and swells volume.
And if you continue to fight, might I suggest separate rooms?
Dizzy, Hestia, and Lucia, would you be so kind to roll your wits and awareness, as the fighting and shoving is just short of actual blows being thrown. And while Nitro is being protected by the wolf pack, there is a very real fact that the volume has grown to such a state, with Melinda attempting to get them to exercise their better judgment. Melinda, while that roll is happening, would you be so kind as go ahead and roll your charisma and persuasion, or charisma intimidation if you're trying to utilize the fact that there are penalties at play.
Alright, let me see. My options were charisma and persuasion, or intimidation.
Yes.
I'm going to go with persuasion. Alright, 2 successes.
Storyteller, if you're speaking right now, I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry about that. Independent mute. Sorry about that. So as Melinda begins to get a few looks and people are beginning to try to disengage from the fracas, you all, having pulled further back, get a chance to look toward the council. Not the main door you all entered and exited out of, but the side door not far from it. And standing there in his supple loafers and his slacks that you all recognize from taking class at his leisure and other, is Critias, watching bemusedly as both arms of their physical law enforcement aspects of the city are attempting to dominate each other physically with shoves and pushes.
If they are not listening to Melinda, Melinda is going to find someone that they will listen to.
And when Critias, in his turtleneck and blazer, begins removing his blazer, is there anything Lucio, Hestia, or Tizzy are going to say?
I'm going to say to Melinda, get out of the way now.
I'm not putting myself in the fight again, but I am going to raise my voice as much as I can with major torso damage and shout for everyone to calm the fuck down because I'm super charismatic.
Yeah, Melinda's like, this is Elysium. We know the rules of Elysium and the consequences.
And with those moments resting there in the air, as Critias hands his jacket down to Hestia and Lucio, we will take a quick 10-minute. It is 1 after the hour. I'll see you guys back here at 11 after the hour, and we will be off and running.
Ow.
guys. How we doing?
Good, yeah?
Not bad.
You know, just trying to keep my friend in one piece.
All right, so any questions on what is in the offing? Wafer has to get back from taking a break there at the hospital.
About how many people is Critias about to kill?
Kill? No, but this is, after all, elite. And while the keeper of Elysium hasn't really been settled since the Empyrean party cast a lot of doubt on the hedonists, there's still decorum. And coming from a republic ideal as to government, that freedom must be fought for and maintained in the by every breathing man, woman, and child. Critias is very much about there's a duty inherent in those. And they have angered him. They challenged them in their inability to control themselves.
See, they're in Elysium, but if he knocks them out of Elysium, and they do, it's technically not a violation.
Absolutely correct.
Seeing people talk shit about the brew hall.
Yeah, Melinda would disagree.
Esty is pretty focused right now. She's in doctor mode.
Well, two things in regards to the aggravated, because they were inflicted by claws. There is the very real fact that it is a deathly attack. That was an attempt on Hesha's life averted by Dizzy's body. The wound is most grievous. It doesn't look that way because, well, Dizzy dead. So the mountains and rivers and oceans of blood that she would be leaking right now is considerably less. Considerably, exponentially less. And the wounding of the vital organs, pancreas and kidney, aren't as injurious to continue. So even for kindred, it is a considerably pressing matter. The steps necessary at this, the easiest way to help be to fortify Dizzy with blood, or lacking actual blood, vitae. Aggravated damage, aggravated wound, supernatural wounding to the quick is no small thing, as you experience in one shape, fashion, or form. Lucio, looking close upon how deeply Dizzy was wounded, would recognize the pain therein, having been victim of such at the hands of McTavish. Melinda, this is Elysium, is relatively gingerly, though quickly back. 1 second she's, a few feet far too close to the fracas breaking out as the shoves and pushes turn into a punch thrown, maybe a kick, to roughly 10 feet further back. She's at this point 3 feet from Lucio, Dizzy, and Hestia, looking at the back of an elderly man who is maybe an inch or two shorter than she is. His bald pate and nearly white gray hair ringing the back of his head, his maroon turtleneck over a surprisingly well-formed body. His slacks look well pressed, looking as if he's the sort to iron out every wrinkle, then re-iron,
daily or nightly as the case may be, wades into the crowd. There's a blur of activity. And follow it though she may attempt, the number of limbs flailing against the air and bodies tossed aside happens so quickly that even now there's an after image of it burned on Melinda's retina as Critias stands in the center of what was once a crowd of kindred fighters, upholders of the law, sprawled, all save Damien, who is standing about 4.5 feet from where it is. And standing in the center of what was the fracas, what was the melee, is Critias, holding Nitro by the scruff of her neck. And he moves towards you all. There's a fear on her face, on Nitro's face, that you would not wish on your worst enemy. My jacket, please.
Lucio hands him his jacket.
And he heads back into the council room. And as the door is closing, I believe the matter is settled. Maintain some peace for our thoughts. And the door closes once more.
He didn't say he let go of Nitro. Is she still here?
She's in the council room. Pretty.
Oh, that poor unfortunate soul.
Well, credit where credit's due. She did not actually kill anyone, though the intent was there. Kindred law doesn't really usually punish intent on action.
Lucio, as soon as Critias leaves, is going to focus his attention again on Dizzy and try and at least bandage up her torso.
And that's easy enough. You, Hestia, have been in this situation far too often. How to stabilize aggravated supernatural damage to kindred flesh far too well. Because of the nature of the injury, the attempt to actively mend it won't occur until sunrise, sunset. However, in stabilizing it, all know that the best remedy with standard medical knowledge and skill is a taste of the stuff. Blood works, but tea works better.
There's probably like another shirt in my bag or a couple shirts or something. Do I look cool? Did I look tough? Because I just want to like lay down and curl up in a ball and cry.
Please don't curl up. You don't have any stomach muscles anymore. I don't know if you'll be able to uncurl after that.
I mean, we set that bridge on fire while we're on it, or whatever the metaphor is.
Seeing as how Dizzy was trying to save Hestia will donate some blood.
Oh. Knowing that it will make things manageable, does he partake? She refused.
She's not particularly hungry, but she realizes she's going to have a problem hunting with the big gaping hole in her torso, so she would probably not do it out in the open in front of everybody, though.
Oh yeah, she has a certain
imprinting as to what helps get her what she needs from the feeding. But Hesh's Vitae has a umami-ness to it. It doesn't have the full weight of resonance, doesn't have the full weight, a full flavor of a excitedly lusty breathing human, but it is very close. Moments later, dressed as best as possible, of course not leaking because Dizzy, like most of the coterie, rarely blushes, so that's not quite an issue at this point. What is an issue at this point is no one heard Nitro scream. Typically, punishments for violating Elysium, provably so, are met with some corporal punishment, usually in the most embarrassing of ways as possible, so that the damage is both physical and more lastingly mental and emotional. There's no scream of pain. There's no scent of cordite from a marring. There's silence. And that's the scariest part about it. Kindred punishments are usually done in the most theatrically damning manner possible. There are always screams. There are always exaltations of pain. Even those amongst you who know the idea of able to shoot themselves in the knee once a week to prove that they can do it, or smash cinder blocks across their head because they know that they can do it, or carve their initials into their flesh or people that they love because they know they can do it. Even those people, when given to the mercy of kindred justice, realize that there are worse things, that there are worse things than the simple petty pain of life. The silence is deafening. And then Critias is back in the door, adjusting his sleeve jacket. Would you want, please? And he motions into the conference.
You good to scan, Dizzy?
I mean, does it matter? The quicker we get this over with, the quicker I can leave.
Alright. Hess, you get her arms, I'll get her legs.
I mean, it's not that bad. I can walk. I mean, it hurts, but I'm not dead.
Well,
Or any more dead than I was.
as you all enter, the government and most of the onlookers are milling about as if this is, in fact, a good old-fashioned wake. There are small rocks glasses filled with various blood types being passed around, occasionally shared. You can see the younger kindred. For them, this is their first time at the situation, but it is clear that the decision has been made. And as you all enter, Jackson moves over. Critias, thank you so much for being a perfect host. We need to talk about you assuming the responsibilities, or someone of your choosing, to be a keeper of Elysium, to keep such things from happening. And he looks at you, Dizzy. I extend my apologies that someone amongst us would be so foolish as to not only harm you, but to do so here in our Elysium. Might I, and he hands a glass to you, to your health, as it were, on behalf of Nitro. Enjoy. Let me know what you all think of the particular vintage. It's been decided that we will take the steps necessary to achieve the confession of Sheng. Now, to achieve that confession, we are again going to rely on your skills. Drink up.
Yeah, she'll drink it.
Oh, Heshia's vitae was umami. This is peaty and sharp. It tastes like a peppered scotch. It sets the nerve on fire. This is that rage-filled. And as that thought begins to percolate, as the vitae in the glass fills Dizzy's nose, there is a dawning recollection as to what Jackson meant. Care of. And Dizzy realizes that she is drinking vitae of a kindred just seconds before was attempting to assassinate Hestia. And as recognition dawns to what's in the finger and a half of vitae in her glass, as she looks across the gathered conference space and she sees several other glasses. There is a human, a mortal thought, a small bit of potion that she is drinking down another kindred unwilling. So we are going to wrap things up for the moment. We will remain in presence, at least my seneschal, the good professor, Annabelle, to ensure that we receive the best outcomes possible. Most of the lookaloos and members of the court will move on about their business, and while you all set about obtaining the confession from Sheng, once that confession, of course, is obtained, justice will serve. I wish you all a nice evening. I got things I need to do. And he slips his phone from his pocket and immediately goes into a games file as he walks out the door.
Great, excellent. Can I go home now?
Are we meant to get the confession tonight, or are we taking a break and then coming back?
Oh no, you are intending to get the confession tonight so that the justice may be carried out as swiftly as possible. There are several rooms that you all could move Sheng's body to, or you can ask for them to drink on the floor or anywhere but actually in the conference. There are several things you all would need to do. First, remove the mistake, make sure that he has not slipped into torpor, and obtain confession in whichever manner most is possible.
Previously might be a good place. It was private enough.
I mean, it's poor form to do it in an Elysium.
Fair enough. There is probably a motel we could go to somewhere nearby.
So are we supposed to videotape this? I'm unclear on what we're supposed to do here.
Having sat in on situation, not exactly situation, an intelligence etiquette role.
Yeah, that's not going to be good for me, but I'll make the roll.
I can make the roll as well.
police have a law enforcement has a term that's made it out into public domain, and it took a little bit. Didn't stay in the public zeitgeist for very, but it is very apropos in this particular situation. Exigent circumstances, a special situation that requires a special SOP, way to get to the goal or enact what normally would not be acceptable. This is exigent circumstances. You've all never had the opportunity of dealing with a betrayal such as this caught in the public eye. And not your betrayal of Sheng or your betrayal of against your own ethics, but the fact that Sheng is being treated as if he's a betrayer. It is an exigent circumstance. Way by the prince on behalf of the government to utilize your skills in getting a confession. So with enough witnesses, the confession would be valid. Recording it in a disposable medium would be valid, and using the given space as your sort of green would also be valid.
I think a recording would be ideal.
Well, let's get to it, because, ow.
Do you need anything else to help patch that up?
Not tonight. We'll see how it goes tomorrow.
You probably shouldn't remove something from the premises, though, just in case. I'm sure there's like a private room somewhere. Matter of fact, where we were sitting before that wasn't being recorded or anything, you could go in there and kind of put him on the table, I guess, and unstake him to get the concession.
I believe we had just... Actually, Storyteller, just to clarify, did you mention whether or not we could actually within Elysium?
Yes, you guys are operating under exigent circumstances.
Okay. In that case, Lucio says, I was thinking the same thing. We should probably move him there.
Then let's do it.
Lucio will grab the body.
Like some frat party in the worst won the Rose Bowl or championship faction, the moment that Lucio lifts Sheng onto his shoulders to firemen carry him, a cheer goes up amongst those in the midst of drinking down nitro. Yeah, look at Tyrus grows angry, just hangs his head, shakes it, is disappointed, but there's not much they can do. They're literally watching one of their own, implanted though he was, and traitorous though he might be, he's still in there, and Nitro's anger and frustration is as you all make it into the room, close the door. Setting about removing the stake. Who do?
First, I want to make sure he's properly restrained before we take that off. Lucio remembers what happened the last time he unstaked a kindred who had been in torpor for a long time without restraints. He is not making that mistake again.
There's no cop cars to steal here.
How will you restrain him?
I don't suppose they have rope on the premises of Elysium.
Typically, no. It's usually powers that are used to restrain strong enough to execute their will.
However, duct tape is almost invincible, so that might work.
It takes precious time away from your efforts to do so, but yeah, finding duct tape isn't all that hard. There's several supply closets on each floor. Working back with duct tape in hand and securing. Would you be so? Who's going to secure the body? Lucio?
I was thinking that Lucio would be the one to basically, like, apply the duct tape, so he would be securing the body.
Okay. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and strength and larceny?
Larceny, I think I have. I need to see how many dots of larceny I have. I have one. I don't think a security analysis specialty will apply here, will it?
No. You're literally taking steps to stop anyone attempting to break free. That's literally this role. Yeah, but if it comes to it, what the difficulty had received to escape it? If it comes to that.
Is it possible to assist him?
Yes.
Then I will assist him. I mean, I'll let him do the work, but I'll be like, no, more raps there. So.
Okay. Actually, would you be so kind as to go ahead, roll. You can either re-roll the entirety of it or just roll one additional die.
I think I'll roll one additional die. The last time I tried re-rolling something like that, it ended up being lower.
Not bad. Alright. So you all have Sheng properly affixed. Laying on the table or sitting in one of the chairs?
I figure sitting in the chair.
Okay. Luckily for you all, a few hours, as well believed negligent as he is not enough to send him into the deeper reaches of torpor, requiring a donation of vitae to awaken. And there's a quiet that is sitting there in the normally talkative Sheng as he looks at the seemingly endless amount of duct tape that is now ensconcing his body. The fact that he is alone in a place where he was not. There's no Damien. There's no Alexa. There's no Tyrus. Dread. There's not even any Nitro. He sees who's standing around him. He shakes his head. Ain't that a mother? Damn. So is this some sort of kindness you all gonna give me? Or is the fix in already?
See him?
You know, we probably should have come up with a plan before we pulled that stick out.
Oh, we could always put it back in.
Are y'all fucking shitting me? I'm sitting right here. Damn.
Lucio puts it back in. See? No sweat off our backs.
I mean, he can hear us either way. He just can't contribute now.
You could have heard us before.
Well, yeah, I'm aware of that. We could go over there and whisper.
Okay, that seems like a plan. And Lucio's gonna turn Sheng's chair away from where we're gathering.
I don't know, dude. I got nothing. I'm trying to keep my insides in right now.
You want some duct tape for that? I got more.
Actually,
I hand Dizzy the roll of duct tape.
Duct tape really does fix everything, from warts to actual ducts. So would Sheng restate and turn towards the corner of away from you all? Stepping a few feet outside of audible range, what is it that you guys are doing?
Well, obviously, he needs to confess to killing Sylvia. So, how do we make him confess to killing Sylvia?
I don't suppose we can make this easy and just, and Lucio makes a gesture with his hands, towards his head. Force it.
I mean, I could probably compel him to, or make him forget that he didn't. So, maybe.
I don't think he's going to do it out of the goodness of his heart.
Look, the way I see it, we have two options. Torture or mind control.
But that's also the problem, because you said you wanted to record. So if we're going to do that, it's going to be obvious if I'm mind whammy him.
We don't have to record the whole thing. If you do it beforehand and then we record, and of course we could review the footage afterwards to make sure it's acceptable for the general public.
I mean, if you can mess with his memory, you can make him remember the narrative that we want to portray and then be like, so tell us what happened. And then he'll tell us what you told him happened, and then that'll be the end of it, right?
The best I can do is making him forget the last couple minutes.
Well, that's no help then.
I mean, I can
But yeah,
I could
probably
conversation if you'd like.
alter what he thinks.
Where's Alexa when you need her?
So you guys have a plan?
I mean, I got nothing other than beating him, and I'm not exactly in the mood or the physical condition to repeatedly punch anybody right now.
Okay,
I mean,
the storyteller.
And make it seem like that's how we got the confession. Sorry to interrupt, go ahead.
Is forgetful mind where you can alter the memory or just make them forget stuff, and compel is to give them an order, right?
Compel is to give them an order, and forgetful mind can manipulate a small portion of memory if successful. But like all dominate, you won't know it's successful unless, of course, it's tested.
Well, it's the best we can do.
So do we want to rough him up a bit to make it seem a little more legit?
Sure, why not?
guess that means I have to do it.
I mean, anybody could do it. You guys could all take turns or anything, but you probably hit harder than anyone else.
I mean, the last person I hit, their head exploded, so maybe someone else should do it, just in case.
Can't you scare him with that scary shadow shit you got?
You sure you want me to do that here?
I mean, not the whole hentai thing, but isn't there like a lesser version of that?
Well, only one way to find out. Lucio goes back to Sheng, turns him around. He's going to unstake him.
So y'all gonna do me in now, huh? I don't see any gasoline. And well, just make it quick, get this shit over with.
Sheng, listen. This is hard for me.
For you?
When we were at the drop house, you know, you and I, we worked together on that mission, and it was not particularly long, but you know, it wasn't bad working with you then. So
I thought you was a right
do
dude.
this.
You ain't gotta do it. We can say you did.
Lucio closes his eyes. And then when he opens them, they are the Oblivion site, covered completely in the darkness.
Oh shit. Y'all gonna take the hard way. Fucking hell. And he begins yelling, "Hey! You motherfuckers! Hey! Somebody come in here!"
Lucio activates, for I think the first time, Shadowcast. I think there's a rouse check.
There is. Just one.
Yes, I think it's just one.
Yeah, it's just one.
And he has the shadow fall over Sheng. Now listen. I don't want to have to hurt you. But if you're gonna be difficult, well, you already know what I can do. So tell us, why did you kill Sylvia?
The fuck? Is that what this is about? Look, man. Charisma plus intimidation plus your...
Plus my what?
Oblivion.
Comes out to a total of 9, I think.
Let's see what she... Look, whatever that bitch got, I'm sure she deserved it, but she was too freaky for me to fuck with. You ain't setting me up for whatever the fuck that is. You can say that I spent too much time partying, but even with me partying, that I handled my business as best as I could. I always did the best I could, except for when I fucked up. And when I fucked up, I got punished. And unlike most people, I'm okay. It sucks, but I'm okay getting punished if I fuck up. I didn't fuck up.
Lucio activates Arms of Ahriman from the Shadowcast.
Oh, fucking hell. Look, man, I didn't fuck up. I'm not the one that stabbed anybody in the back.
I get hungry.
Look, why don't you and all of them stop fronting? We all know y'all the bad guys. Y'all the ones setting people up. Y'all the ones trying to take the hounds out and make us weaker.
Lucio takes uses the arms to cover his mouth for a moment, and the rest of them are gonna dig in slowly into his arms. It doesn't have to be this hard. Just tell us why you did it. Don't make me keep doing this.
Look, what do you want me to say? I'll say it. Come on. Okay. All right. Okay. Fine. You're right. Just stop doing all this freaky shadow shit, man. I thought we were better than that. And we go back way to saving Damien as best as we could. We go back to explosions in the sewers as best as and surviving them as best as we could. Come on, me and you against a whole neighborhood of gangbangers, and it's not much in the grand scheme of our lives and everything. But come on, stop the shadow shit. Come on. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? I'll say it.
I want you to say why you joined the Bahari and why they had you kill Sylvia.
Okay. I got this. All right, come on. You just want me to say it right now? You don't want me to go in front of anybody?
Let's hear it. And Lucio kind of gives a... Well, first he's gonna break out his phone to try and record it. Quickly realizing that's an awful idea, he says to one of the others, maybe a better phone would be ideal.
I got you.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Okay. So you recording this, Blondie?
Yep.
Okay. So let this go down as a testament to, the sort of kindred that I am, the sort of person that I had become. I ain't never joined no goddamn I ain't killed no goddamn Sylvia. These motherfuckers set me up and they trying to take me out. They trying to ruin the entirety of the hounds. They trying to take out the Gengar from the Camarilla, and they working with that bitch Blakeney.
Lucio's arms return, and they're going to try and sever one of his arms. Well, not sever, but definitely scar it as much as possible. Be an attack on his arm.
Well, you don't really have to roll for an attack. He is completely held by the duct tape, and something in that first exchange between he and Lucio, there is a clear defiance to the last moment that Lucio is there. It is as if he's purposefully playing along just enough to drag out his own death. It is a testament to the stupidity of one man's sense of bravery at the wrong.
Lucio has become the villain to which he is William Wallace and will die screaming freedom.
Now, why'd you have to go and do that? And before he even answers, Lucio has the arms cover his mouth again.
And delete.
Oh, that didn't quite work.
I guess that means it's my turn.
By all means. Oh, but before you do, I just need to take care of something. Lucio is going to retract all the shadow stuff.
Oh.
And then Lucio is going to grab Sheng by the hair, pull his head to the side, and bite into his neck.
All right. So, Melinda, Dizzy, you all were victims by proximity to Lucio himself, even temporarily. Watching it seemingly being done brings back memories like back in Nam. It is, instead of a bed flying at you, it is a tornado, a full-fledged tsunami of beds flying in your direction. At this point, watching him divest Sheng of Vitae in the most casual semblance of cruelty you have seen. And not because you haven't seen anybody feed anybody else, but even the moments when you've been privy to kindred going after other kindred, there's always some passionate example of the beast. Lucio moves as if he is in fact simply sampling one of the freebies you get from a grocery store. Oh, this is a cheese puff? This tastes lovely.
Yeah, Lucio's not gonna... He's gonna take enough to satisfy a little bit of hunger. He doesn't want to kill Sheng. He just wants to, number one, satisfy his hunger, and number two, weaken Sheng a little.
Oh, the weakness is very much there. And you also realize, unfortunate, why Sheng operates or has been operating at a slightly diminished capacity. The vitae that coats Lucio's tongue, throat, the best approximation that Lucio can describe it as is someone spiked the punch. Slip a little bit of MD 2020 to the punch bowl, or Cisco, or the original recipe for Loco. And that's what Sheng's vitae tastes like. Like a slightly sweetened, clearly alcoholic punch.
Lucio, after tasting this, Lucio, once he gets his full, he rips away and then licks the wound closed. God, no wonder you've been... difficult on your job. What is this, a project of yours?
Yeah, your mom is pretty sweet, ain't she?
You want me to take more?
You want to keep sucking me off?
Lucio punches him.
There's no dodge roll, but the quickness of Lucio's cross is actually surprising to Sheng, and it's clear from the attempt to use head motion that he is accustomed to being, in a fight, even as slightly inebriated as he is. The cross catches him cleanly, and while it doesn't knock him completely out of the chair, that's solely due to the duct tape.
My apologies.
No, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. Not everybody can punch like a man. You'll get there one day.
I was talking to but he turns to the others. Sorry about that. I didn't want my hunger getting the better of me in this. I figured
Hunger?
take now than later.
Hunger? Is that what you call it? It's okay. It was 2021. You don't gotta be in the closet. It's okay. You can admit it. You can tell them all. They saw you. They saw you suck me off.
I'm getting Furious Eddie flashbacks right now.
Not today, but maybe tomorrow. You and I are going to talk about some yoga or something. It's very centering.
I think that might come in handy, some sort of stress relief.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I got stress relief for you.
Oh, I do want to hear this. What is it?
Instead of next time taking it from the little head up top where you took it, you can go down low. It's a little bit bigger. You might get a better mouthful.
Melinda, if you would.
What are we doing real quick?
Lucio, we're just giving you the opportunity to take a round or two with Sheng, seemingly has given himself over to the very real factor that he is marked for death, or that there is no positive outcome for the situation for him. And Lucio is, in his eyesight, the big bad that must be defeated with vicious mockery.
Out of character moment. Sorry, I thought earlier you said you wanted to do something, so that's why I handed the moment to you.
Earlier, Melinda went to yell at someone about people not respecting. But Melinda is going to activate Dominate. And say, Sheng, sit down. You're acting like
He's already sitting.
Huh? Oh, he's already sitting? He's going to, it's like an act for Dominic and like wrap her hands around his throat and tell him to shut up.
Oh, you gonna suck me off just like your boyfriend over there? You guys gonna take turns? Hopefully you're better than he is. He wasn't that good at it. You probably hit better than he did too.
Sir, I am a lady.
Oh, that means you're gonna step on me, aren't you? Let's get this over with. I never really got into the play, but I can, I can swing it.
No.
So he doesn't shut up?
Like, a real lady. And, like, Melinda is going to, like, shove her elbow into his nose.
That's not the hand. That's not a fist thing that I was hoping for, but okay. You guys just gonna keep pussyfooting around, or you're gonna have to just go ahead and do it? You're gonna go ahead and just off me? Go ahead and get me off this mortal coil? Yeah.
No.
No? You too scared?
No, I'm gonna let, someone with some real creativity to get at me.
Oh, creativity. I'm not sure I really want you guys that idea of creativity. You guys just want to pass somebody around. If you guys wanted to have a good time, we could have, not done the duct tape and the stake in and the elbow instead of a nice fist in while you guys suck me off. But
while he's busy posturing and monologuing, Dizzy will roll her eyes and walk over behind him, and as he ends his little tirade there, she will reach out and just crush every bone in his shoulder with her hand.
There's no roll necessary. Potent.
Melinda will look at Dizzy and say, what happened to that steak from earlier?
It's right there on the floor. But I'm not thinking about putting it back in his chest.
There is a yowl. I'm not sure. I don't have Dizzy's sheet open, so I'm not sure exactly how much potent she has. Let's say she has 1, 2. At that level, it's not an instantaneous. It's it is you crumbling a cracker. So it takes a little bit more effort to get it completely pulverized. But in that effort of making sure that it's completely pulverized, there is a yowl of pain that he forces into a laugh. Oh my God! Oh, what's up with you guys that constantly want to give hand jobs? I'm dead. We're not at grade school anymore. Let's do something a little bit better.
I don't even think we passed grade school.
And we're not in middle school either, so you can stop with the ha-ha hand jobs thing. You realize you're done here, right? That you're gonna die. That is a foregone conclusion. It's just how painful is it going to be?
It's pretty fucking painful already, so I think I can hack it if you guys go ahead and stop pussyfooting around just to get it over with.
I haven't even begun to hurt you yet, Sheng.
Drained of fatigue. Oh, broken nose. Dislocated jaw. And whatever the hell you pulped my shoulders with. Yeah, there's not much left. Come on, let's just do it.
Stop pussyfooting. Let's dive right in. Unless, of course, you guys are just too scared. That's it, isn't it? You guys have never really killed a real kindred before, have you? It's not that hard. Just bite down.
We are not your executioners.
So they won't give you any of the fun jobs, huh? Fuck.
Sheng, do you know how many bones are in your body?
Before or after I get excited?
About 200, Sheng. That was like 4 of them.
Come a little closer. Come a little closer, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Come on.
And then I crush the other shoulder and say, do I look that stupid?
Most people in your weight class, they don't have enough weight to have a decent brain. You know, most brains are like 5 pounds. What do you top out at? A pound and a half? 2?
Yours is an ounce.
192 to go, Sheng. I got time.
There is an understanding that people with no power, or who've never really had power, they hang their head on things that don't matter, saving face, what others think of them. And they'll dig their heels in because they think they have nothing else to lose. They think that they've had the worst moments that they will ever have, and the fact that they managed to survive them, or that they know that there is a foregone conclusion. They operate with that immortality of thought that there's nothing that the world, anyone can do to them to make things worse. Pain is a constant, and most people choose to chemically anesthetize themselves to You all are aware that Sheng was a effective double agent amongst the hounds on care of Wolfpack, operating, serving 2 masters, living 2 lives, purposely being as openly innocuous as possible so that people underestimate him. There is a pain of conscience, a pain of inherent loyalty at what one has to do. And while just days ago, months ago, a year ago, you all would not stoop to outright active torture, there's certain pragmatism in your situation. And the truth of the matter is, bent as you all are, if you realize he will break, but not before having you come face to face with monsters that live inside of you. A little beating, a little tough talk, a little smack talk, you guys have grown accustomed to. Even the death of your enemy, you guys have come accustomed to. But when it's all said and done, when it's all shakes loose, Sheng didn't do what he's accused of. He has done wrong, but hasn't everybody? And as you all crush, beat, mind rape, and otherwise make sure that Sheng's last moments of relative independence and liberty are filled with as much pain as you can muster, because you are damned that you'll be beaten by this double agent of a gang. It falls to the stake, boned, broken, and pulped. The stake inserted in
quick succession. Back, back, back. And finally, a barely intelligible facsimile of a bipedal humanoid. Sheng finally gives it up, finally agrees. Literally says, yeah, what they said. Fuck you all. And you all receive the confession. And as Annabelle and Critias stand looking at the pulpy mess that is Sheng, multiple stakings, broken bones, being screwed over by you all in every fashion you're able to dish out. They look at the recording of the confession. Critias looks at Annabelle Critias, I get her. Well, as beings, the judgment had already been decided. Sheng, we thank you for your service as a hound. Annabelle says, closing the distance between. We thank you for, in these last final moments, a semblance of honesty. Much like these hounds, we know you were a kindred of upstanding measure. Much like these loyal, upstanding, honorable kindred here, we hoped that the same would have remained for you. We're sorry that your failings, your lack of decency, your inability to keep our laws and keep our confidences has led you. The government, Primogen Council, and the Prince of Chicago pronounced death upon Critias, with his lips pursed, crosses the distance, placing both hands on either side of Sheng's head. And there's a slow squishing as his hands move towards clapping themselves and obliterating everything in the space between it. Headless, Sheng's corpse is taken from the room. You know that, like all Chicagoans know, there is a green space on top of the roof, and that's where he will meet his end. The sun rises in just over 2 hours. You all are thanked for your services. Given a hero's applause, promises are made to settle with you before the assault on the disco begins. It is time to rid the city of the Bahari and their influence. How they have the ability to slip inside kindred and allow their worst monsters to come to light, to cause them to do things they would never normally consider. Something so pernicious and evil has to end. And with that thought, as you all head back to your havens, I would like to thank you for the session and see you all at the premiere of season 10. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night. Get better, Hestian.